Uh, Hare Krishna. So, actually, I'll be presenting this 1.8.23 today, and I listened to Prabhupada's lecture, which was recorded in LA in 1973. And Prabhupada actually in very detailed, he explained, the meaning of Rishikesha. And very nicely, he explained that, what does it mean and what is our duty towards Lord, and how we should understand that he's Rishikesha, so how we should act. And then later, while he was finishing this lecture, he explained this verse. And there is one more lecture I heard, which is by Her Grace Priya Vallabha Devi Dasi Mataji. It was in Hindi and it was recorded 2 years back. And Prabhupada and Mataji actually explained this shloka in two different ways. You can understand this shloka in two different. Just a minute. So first I will explain how Prabhupada actually explained this shloka. So I'll recite it. And I'll try to go word by word as Prabhupada explained, because it's I don't want to use any of my words, or you know uh, I don't know whether I understood it correctly, so I'll try to go and recite as Prabhupada explained this shloka. So if I make any mistake, that's all mine, and that means that's lack in my understanding. So I'll recite the shloka. Yatha rishikesha khalena devaki कंसेन रुधाति चिरं शुचाप्रिता विमोचिताहं च सहात्मजा विभो त्वयेव नाथेन मुहुर्विपद्गनात्. So Prabhupada actually explained this, like the situation of the devotees, like he was talking about Devki Mata Ji, I don't know, Mother Devki. So Devki, who happens to be mother of Krishna, she is not an ordinary woman who can become the mother of supreme personality of Godhead. She is the most advanced devotees, so that Krishna has agreed to become her son. In the previous life, Vasudeva and Devki, Mother Devki, were husband and wife, like Sutapa. So they were in previous birth, Sutapa and Vrishni. They underwent severe austerities, and when Krishna appeared before them, they wanted the benediction, so that Krishna, they wanted a son like God. So then Prabhupada explained the meaning of God. So people give different meanings, or understand God by different meanings. But Prabhupada here very clearly explained that God means there is no equal to, or there is no one greater to Lord. Everyone is lower to God, and that God is the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna. Then he explained Rishikesha. Rishikesha means the controller of the senses. Rishi means senses. So we are enjoying our senses, but ultimately Krishna is the controller. And because he is the controller, he is actually the enjoyer of the senses. So we think in this material world that we are actually enjoying the senses, and we are trying to control them, but ultimately we do not understand that Krishna, it's everything's happening by the mercy or by the will of Krishna. So he is the ultimate enjoyer. So Prabhupada here gives example that if I claim that this is my hand, and we claim that this is my body, and we claim the different parts of our body like that, like this is my body, this is my hand, this is my uh, like other relations also, we become proud of being the controller of the hand because we can move it the way we want. So by mistake, we start thinking ourselves as the controller of our hand or body. But the fact is that the real controller is Krishna. If once he withdraws the power of the activity of your hand, of your body, you become paralyzed. Although I'm claiming this is my hand, I shall use it. But when it is paralyzed, this you cannot do anything with that hand. Therefore, the correct understanding is that I may have possessed this body or this hand by the mercy of the Lord Krishna. I am not the controller. The ultimate controller is Krishna. And that is the true understanding of Krishna consciousness. And then Prabhupada said and quoted this verse. I could not find this verse, but Prabhuji also in previous lectures sometime mentioned this, that our how our thinking should be. It should be like that, Krishna, I am a puppet and make me dance the way you want. So if we surrender like this to Krishna, that is true Krishna consciousness. Therefore, a sane man will think that ultimately the hand is to be controlled by Krishna, that it means for that it meant for service of Krishna. This is the right understanding. And then Prabhupada mentioned that we claim the body and then we use it for our sense gratification. That is actually the influence of Maya. So when we try to use this gift given by Lord, or everything, whatever we have, when we try to use that for our own sense gratification, that is under the influence of Maya. That is pure ignorance. Because I why we got this body? So we got this body because we made a choice in front of Krishna. We made a choice to Krishna that we wanted to stay away from him, and we wanted to enjoy the senses. That is why we come to this material world. He gave us that body because when you go to Krishna, he is the supreme Lord, he is the supreme father. So when a child goes to father and uh, try being stubborn or ask for something, and even if child doesn't know whether that is good or not for the kid, for the child, but when you cry in front of Lord and in your father, sometime parents end up saying, okay, take it. So the same way, when we made this choice of staying away from Krishna, he gave us this body, but he still remains the supreme controller. This body is actually a gift of Krishna. So therefore, it should be used in the service of Krishna only. So that is the true use of this instrument. That is the true use of this gift given by the Lord. The understanding is that we are the part and parcel of Krishna. So everything, whatever we have, even our senses, our mind, our intelligence, everything belongs to Krishna. But whenever we want to, we use our senses for sense gratification, or we use our free will to make some wrong decisions, that is actually binds us here in this material world. And then we keep coming, taking different bodies as per our karmas. So Prabhupada here explains the meaning of bhakti. So he says, a shloka, Rishi ke na Rishi kesha sevanam iti bhakti. Rishi Kena means the by the senses, and Rishi Kesha means the controller of senses. So by the senses, serving the controller of the senses is the true bhakti. So when we are serving Krishna, when we are serving the Lord by the senses, Rishi Kena, Rishi Kesha, Sarvam Sevanam iti bhakti. So that is the true understanding of bhakti, that everything else except this is a sheer waste of time. And that becomes the reason of our bondage. But if we serve Krishna by our senses, that is the true bhakti. Right. And then Prabhupada says, as I mentioned, that when you use it for yourself, it becomes the cause of bondage. But when the same senses used for the Lord's services, it becomes the reason of the liberation. The master of the senses is sitting within your heart. And when one comes to this level of understanding, he becomes a pure devotee. So this is the true understanding, that what we need to do, we have to understand that Krishna is sitting inside our heart as super soul, as Paramatma. When we understand this and when we use our senses, our body, everything we have, our opulences, everything whatever we have in the service of Krishna, when we actually come to this level of understanding, we become a pure devotee. Then Prabhupada here mentioned that because Krishna always says that whatever you have, even the forgetfulness or the remembrance, everything comes from me. The shloka 15.15, Mataji, can you pull up the shloka? Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto. Or else I can try. Yeah, Krishna says here, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto mata smritir jananam apohanam cha vedescha sarve raham sa eva vedyo vedanta krita veda evachaham. Translation: I'm seated in everyone's heart. From me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta and I am the knower of the Vedas. So this is the understanding. This is in Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter. Krishna says that everything comes from me. I am the compiler of all the Vedas and I am the knower of all the Vedas. So whatever we have, even the remembrance and everything comes from Krishna. Then Prabhupada says that Krishna is so merciful because we wanted to have this body and we wanted to enjoy apart from Krishna. He's so merciful that if one wants to use the senses for their own purpose, he gives them a chance to use according to their own wish. For example, Prabhupada says that if somebody say, I want to go away from you and I want to eat stool, so Krishna very happily gives the body of a hog. So there are different types of bodies we can take birth in, and then we can enjoy as we want. But the real understanding is when you get this human form, then to serve the Krishna is the ultimate goal. Prabhupada says that you make a choice or wish and Krishna gives you according to your choice. Wrong choices, we actually, by making wrong choices continuously, we actually become senseless and become entrapped in the cycle of birth and death. So after this, Prabhupada said that is why Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vaja aham tvam papebhyo mokshyami ma shucha. Yeah. Oh, I remember. So therefore in Bhagavad Gita, he says that leave everything and come under my shelter. Come to me and I will forgive and I will take care of you. I don't remember the exact translation, but this is my understanding, the shloka, that leave everything and come under my shelter. And I will take care, I will forgive you. Or I think that is the, are you pulling up the shloka, Mataji? Let me try. Yeah, it's here. So, yeah, abandon all varieties of dharmas and simply surrender unto me. I shall liberate you from all your sinful reaction. Do not fear. But we take a very long time to actually understand this. And once we do this, we get liberation. Yeah. Therefore, to release, and then, so therefore, Krishna says that come under my shelter, uh, and I will release you from this cycle of birth and death. So if you give up this process of sense gratification and surrender, you are saved and liberated. Prabhupada gave an example here that how we think on this bodily level that I am Indian, and then my senses should serve my country, and because of that, there's so many problem happens. So Prabhupada says anything except this understanding that we are the part and parcel of Krishna, and our senses should be serving Krishna, and we are here, he is the master and we are the servant, and everything, this body is belongs to Krishna. Any understanding except this understanding is completely ignorance. So we think that we belong to this, and then we are our thinking is limited to our community, our relatives, or our own near dear relationship. That is not the true uh, understanding. That is completely ignorance. But the true understanding is to know that we are the part and parcel of Krishna, and we are in this world because we made some bad choices, and to correct them, he has given us a chance to become a pure devotee, and he will accept us, and he will forgive uh, us, and he will forgive us and accept us. So, and this is understanding a devotee should have, and this is not only for a devotee, for everybody in this world. Until we come to this, until we accept this as a fact that this is the goal of life, we will be keep changing the bodies and doing a lot of karmas, and then the sense gratification, and we'll be stuck in this world. So now Prabhupada start talking about this shloka. Mataji, can you pull up this 8.23? Yatha Rishikesha, Yatha Rishike Kalena Devaki. So Prabhupada here says that Rishikesha, oh my dear Krishna, you are the master of senses, and for the sense gratification, we are fallen in this material condition, different varieties of life. So we are suffering to the extreme. Even one becomes Krishna's mother, because this is the material world. She is also put into suffering, what to speak of others. So Prabhupada here is actually trying to say that Devki Mata, when actually came to this world, in this material world, she was also put through so many sufferings, so many difficulties. Then what to talk about us, what to talk about other people? We are so fallen, and she was such a pure devotee that she was the mother of Krishna. So this is the true reality of this material world, that if you actually, if you come here, you come here because of, sorry for the background noises, that you come here because of your karmas. So Devaki Mata, who was such a great devotee that she got an opportunity to become Krishna's mother, she was also put through so many difficulties. And then now we can think what will happen to us, that if she has to go through a lot, despite of being such a great devotee, then we are nowhere. Mother Devaki, and then Prabhupada said that she was put into such difficulties by her own brother. So this world is like that. Even if you become Krishna's mother, and if you and your brother, who's very very close to you, or your relatives, or here the example of Kamsa. So the world is as jealous that for even once, if you try to hamper their personal interest, you try to give them problem, they are ready to give you trouble. So for them, it will not be difficult to give you trouble if you try to hamper their own personal interest. So we see here in the case of Devki Mata that that how Kamsa was actually became the charioteer of her of her chariot, that he said that I will ride this, I will drive her. But when actually he came to know, and this announcement happened, that the Devki's eighth child will be the cause of Kamsa's death, the very moment he actually pulled Devki from her hair and put into the um, in the jail, that your son is going to be the cause of my death, so you have to suffer. So this is, Prabhupada said, this is the reality. So the relations we have here, we try to think that they are very good to us, they really love us, but they love us till the moment we are not actually hampering them or trying to hurt them. Even by mistake, if you hurt them, you will face the consequences. I mean, they just show their true colors, that how it is, that if you are good to us, we will be good to you, but if you are not good to us, we will give you little extra only, extra troubles. So Prabhupada here explains this Kalina. Kalina means jealous. The material world is actually full of jealous and enviousness. Prabhupada says, therefore, this Krishna conscious movement is for such person who is not at all jealous. And then he says that you can test yourself. Those who are jealous are within this material world, they remain in this material world, and those who are not jealous are in the spiritual world. So that is the basic difference. So he says that you can always test yourself where you are, which world you belong to. Similarly, Prabhupada shared this example that if you're eating food, and you will understand when you are satisfied, when you're full. You don't need a certificate from anybody else to come to you and says, now you are full. So the same way, if we feel that we are not jealous, we should immediately understand that we are in the spiritual world, we are in the right path, we are in the service of Krishna. But if you have even a tinge of jealous in you for anybody, not for your closed ones, for anybody in this world, you're still a part of this material world, and that will become a big hindrance for your progress in bhakti. So we should always test ourselves, that how we feel about others, how we feel about our neighbors, our relatives, and other, if they are progressing in life, if they are doing good in life, and we feel that we are not able to do, and we are jealous of them, that means we are still here, and we really have to do a lot to get out of this situation, or we really have to struggle if we are following this devotional path. And we should always keep checking ourselves, um, uh, most often, that if we are jealous, we really have to go a long way. So, and then Prabhupada said that, so Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. If we supply the ingredients of his enjoyment, that is the perfection of life. He then, as mentioned, Prabhupada shared this example that he's the master and we are the servant. We are the servant and Krishna is the master. The master supplies all the materials and ingredients, and the servant responsibility is to use those things for the master. So that is our role, that he is giving us everything. He is giving us food, he is giving us water, he is giving us opulences, he is giving us fame, he is giving us everything, education, everything. So if we use for the service of Krishna, that is the true that is the real service of Krishna, and that is what our role here is, that in this material world, he is a master, we are the servant. Whatever we have is all his gift, is all by his mercy. So we should be using all that for the service of Krishna. The rest, everything is just a waste. Yeah, and then Prabhupada says here that Kunti Devi says that Devaki is your pure devotee, Krishna. You saved her from all the dangers given by her envious brother. And as soon as the brother, like I shared the story. So here Prabhupada says that Devaki had Vasudev. So Vasudev is actually there to pacify Devaki at every moment when she was in this difficult time. And then Vasudeva actually went to Kamsa and said that, there is no fault of Devaki. If you want, I shall be, bringing all my kids to you, and you can give them whatever you want, to kill them or whatever with them. Don't give punishment to Devaki. And then we all know that what Kamsa used to do with the Devaki's kids. So here Prabhupada says that Kunti Devi is actually comparing her situation with Devaki. That in Kunti Devi's life, all the problems were created by Dhritarashtra. His plan was that, to kill Pandavas, and he was very jealous that he could not sit on the throne. So he said that, he was blind, so he could not be the king. So he didn't want, this time he wanted his son to get to sit on the throne and to become the leader of the the kingdom, to become them the king, or his son Duryodhan the king, and lead the kingdom. So yeah, so that was his thinking. So Prabhupada says that this is actually the policy of this material world. Say that we always think that I should be happy, my kids should be happy, my community should be happy, my nation should be happy, etc. This is the extended selfishness. And this all happens, this all thinking is under the influence of Maya, because we always think about ourselves, our kids, our community, our nation. But when we start, and this is a completely wrong thinking, and because of thinking we saw that Mahabharat happened. So till the time we'll also keep thinking like this, that my kids should enjoy, I should enjoy, my community should enjoy, my relatives should enjoy, we will also keep facing such wars, such problems in our life. The true understanding is that he's the Rishikesha and we are the servant. So uh, Kunti Devi here in this verse actually saying that Krishna, now I'll be sharing from Priya Vallabha Devi Dasi Mataji's lecture. She actually explained in a very, it actually a different way of seeing this shloka. She said that in this shloka, Mataji, can you scroll up? I want to see the shloka. She said that here Kunti Devi in this shloka actually trying to tell that how humble a devotee should be, and how a devotee should think um, for Krishna. That she said that Yatha Hrishikesha Khalena Devaki Kamsena Ruddha Tichiram Shuchaprita. She that Rishikesha, O master of senses, Kamsa, who out of envious, he put Devaki into jail, and then Rudha means imprisoned, and Atichiram for a long time. And she says that Devaki Mata was in the jail for a long time, and she was actually suffering for a very, very long time, and she was very distressed. So she's saying that although she was your mother, and she delivered seven kids before you, and then all her kids were killed by her real brother Kamsa, and she was so close to you, she was such a pure devotee of yours, and you did not come to save all her kids. And even when you came as her child, you were there only for few minutes, and then you went away, and then Vasudeva actually took you to Nanda Maharaj house. And then she was actually she could not spend time with you. So she had to stay away from you after being, she did so much austerities in previous life, and then she got an opportunity to have you as her son. But despite all those things, she could not spend time with you. And Hrishikesha, hey Krishna, you did not actually come to save her too early. You actually waited for so long that she had to suffer, and that she had to face so many problems, but you did not come to save her. But whereas in my case, vimochitaham cha sahatmaja vibho, uh, Vimochita, Vimochita, released aham cha, myself. And but you, in my case, Krishna, you always save me and all my, along with me, my sons too. But that was not the case with Devaki. So you were always more favorable towards me. You always, always with me. You always favored me a lot, Krishna. That Devaki, who was your such a big devotee, you did not save her kids. But whereas in my difficult times, you always saved me along with my sons. And tvaye vanathin mahur vipadgana, because tvaye vanathin, because hey Nath, you are, because you knew that you are the only shelter I have. You are the only one I can rely. You are the only one I can come to. I have no one else but you, in my difficult times, in my good times. Because Kunti Mata actually, Mataji actually shared that Pandu, why Kunti Mata suffered. So she shared a little bit about her sufferings. That Pandu actually, when she got married to Pandu, Pandu had this curse that he cannot be with the lady, otherwise he will die. I think something like that. I don't know exactly. So she actually, even after her marriage, she did not. She was in the same mahal, but she did not stay with Pandu. But one day Pandu actually asked her that, you should deliver sons, like you should be a mother. So then she had the all the Pandavas by some boon, by Lord, by Lord. So, but because everybody in the Hastinapur, all her relatives from her husband's sides, they never accepted Pandavas as Pandu's kids. They used to think that, this lady is not a chaste woman. And because they were aware about the curse Pandu had, so they thought this Pandava is actually not Pandu's son. So they never accepted. So she always and always gone through those difficulties, that nobody is accepting her kids, then all those, like she had to go to jungle, then all this, they were trying to kill Pandavas, and then they were not ready to accept them. Then Pandavas had to go to in the jungle for 12 years. Then whatever happened with Draupadi, so she also faced a lot of difficulty, we see. But a pure devotee actually never compare their suffering with others, but they always count their blessings. So here Kunti Mata is actually trying to explain that Devaki sufferings were less, were more. Mine sufferings were very, very less. But Krishna, you were so favorable to me. You were always with me because you knew that I have no other place to go. I have no other shelter except you. And you were always. And then here she said, Muhur Vipidgana. So Muhur means constantly. So she said that, in Devki's case, as I mentioned, that, you waited for so long to come as a eighth child, and she had to go through a lot. But in my case, it was not, but this was not the case with me. Whenever I had challenges, you were always there. In the case of Draupadi, you see, when the moment actually Draupadi reminded, thought of Krishna and prayed to Krishna, the very moment Krishna came and helped her. And we see how Krishna actually broke his vow, which we read in previous verses, that how Krishna actually broke his vow, that he was ready to take the weapon against Ashwatthama. So she's saying that in my case, I had problems, but you were always there. You did not let me suffer for a long time. So in this verse, actually, Kunti Maharani is giving a different vision of this shloka, that a devotee should always and always count of his blessings, never count his sufferings. So if we see that he, I am suffering so much, they are not suffering, we should always think कि हमें जो हमारे साथ हो रहा है वो बहुत कम है, लेकिन हमें जो मिल रहा है भगवान की तरफ से वो बहुत ज्यादा है. So if we start thinking like this, we can also become a good devotee someday, because this is what Kunti Maharani is trying to tell us in this shloka. And she's glorifying Krishna and glorifying the, telling about Devki Mata suffering and comparing herself that I'm very fallen, I'm not like Devki, but still you are so favorable to me in all the situations, you helped me so much. And in the purport it's mentioned that Krishna actually put his devotees in danger situation, and he does that because he actually wants a devotee to realize that when you will have worse times, when you will have these bad times, you can actually, there will be no one with you except me. So realizing this is very, very important, that whenever we have difficult times, Krishna is actually always and always trying to save us. We cannot see his mercy. Like sometimes if we have clouds, we cannot see the sun, but sun is always and always there. So the same way in our difficult times, in our happiness time, Krishna is always and always there with us. It's just that we have this material vision, we cannot see Krishna. So if we have suffering in our life, although uh, in real it's actually scares, I mean, I can say myself that it really scares me when I have difficult times. But the change I have now is I try to think more about Krishna, that this time should go, because I'm not a pure devotee. But whereas the Kunti Maharani, who's a pure devotee, always say, Krishna gives me more trouble so that you can be with me more and more, I can spend time with you. So our thinking should be like this. We should count our blessings, because Krishna is always with us, and our sufferings are all because of our karmas, because we made a choice to stay away from Krishna. And in this was the Dwapar Yug, when we had Devki Mata, when we had Kunti Maharani, the pure devotees, Krishna knew that they can actually handle this much problems. But nowadays, if Krishna gives us this problem, rather people don't even think about Krishna, people will start cursing him, that you are giving us so many problems. But in this Kali Yuga is to become a good devotee, or to become a pure devotee. It is actually, this verse can really help us to understand that counting our blessings are more important than counting our suffering, because they will eventually or always happen with us, because they are all because of the karmas. And I don't know how many more births we have to take and suffer. But if we remember this and always compare, have this thinking of Kunti Maharani, this prayer, that my suffering are because of my karmas, but my blessings are always your mercy. So that's all I wanted to share. I'm really sorry I took a long, as this is my habit to talk a lot. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. Really, really liked your talk. I really liked your point at the end that you shared about, counting the blessings. It's so true, and it's a very nice highlighted point from this, that even though she went through so much, but still, Krishna saved them from so many dangers and protected. She was counting her blessings, comparing herself to Devaki. So that's amazing.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Thank you so much for such a beautiful discussion. It was everything was so clear, and looks like you read or heard a lot. There's a lot of points you covered. Mataji, I have a question. When you were talking about Devaki and Queen Kunti, there is like a comparison drawn, and Prabhupada has also discussed this in the purport. So like you mentioned that Devki and Vasudev, they had gone through a lot of austerities, like thousands of years of tapasya to get Lord as their child. So what is the, like, if you've heard somewhere or any reflections, what is the reason why they didn't really get to enjoy, um like like Mother Yashoda got so much um association of Krishna, the Bal Gopal form, and all the pastimes of Krishna's childhood, whereas Devki and Vasudev could not relish that, all the Braj Leelas. But they had gone through so much austerities as it is described, and we have read this in Krishna book also. So I know it's very hard to say why Krishna does anything, but just want to understand this better.
Actually, Mataji, I also was thinking like this, that, Devki Mata did so much austerities and she could not spend more time with Krishna. And then more than her, he spent time with Yashoda Maya, right? So Prabhupada, actually, when I was listening to this lecture, he said that because they came to this material world. So as I mentioned, that Prabhupada said that I don't know the real reason. I'm sure it is a Leela, Krishna, but Prabhupada just trying to tell that, Devki was such a big devotee, became the mother of Krishna, who saw the Krishna, who took this benediction from Krishna. And Krishna came as a child. If she is not spared by the difficulties of this material world, what to talk about others? So I think, this is my understanding, Mataji, that Krishna in this by this Leela is actually trying to tell us that our relations, Kamsa, she was given all the troubles by Kamsa. So maybe these were like her previous karmas. She had to face this. Krishna, like Shabri, we see the example of Shabri, that, she had to wait for thousands of years to have a darshan of Ram Bhagwan. So, I mean, those were karmas that she had to wait for so long and go through so much of suffering. So, most of the devotees we see, those who have seen, took a darshan of Krishna, or Krishna came as some relative, or Krishna just gave them a darshan, or Ram Bhagwan just gave them a darshan. But they also did some previous karmas that they had to suffer a lot. Like we see in the case of Prahlad Maharaj, we see in the case of, these were only Leelas, but for our own understanding, we see that, if you come take this body of human form, or you don't know how many other previous births you have taken, or your some good deeds you did, so you came to this form. But there were some bad actions also in previous birth, which come as which actually comes with you, and then you have to suffer because of them. So I think that is one of the reasons that she got a chance to become the mother of Krishna, but she could not get a chance to be with Krishna. Same way, Yashoda Maya got a chance to be of Krishna's mother, but she also did not spend much time with Krishna. I mean, Krishna just spent Bal Leela with her, but at the same time, we see he spent more time with Pandavas. He spent more time with Kunti Maharani. So, honestly, Mataji, my understanding is very limited, but yeah, Prabhupada is just trying to say that if you take this human form, if you become even a good devotee, and if you are blessed by Krishna, but if you have done anything in past, you have to face those consequences. So maybe in previous birth, some mistakes they must have done, so they had to go through such. Hare Krishna. That's my understanding, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you again for the beautiful explanations for the verse and the discussion. I'm just, and this is my understanding, Mataji, but just so that others also can correct me if I'm wrong. But when we talk about, these, the other devotees, these are all true devotees like Shabri, like Devaki, mother of Lord Krishna, Yashoda Maya, all these are true devotees. And for true devotees, it is not because of their karmas that they are coming. We usually not use, we don't think of them as suffering or getting the suffering, like Kunti Maharani for that matter. So it is not their karmas that they have to face these things. It is part of Krishna's Leela, and they are participating willingly in Krishna's Leela, and they can undergo any kinds of problems or austerities to be near to Krishna and to take part in Krishna's Leela. So lots of, as we know in Chaitanya Leela, lots of gods take birth, and in Bhagavatam, that verse is there, Sangopana, Sangopastar. Natasha knows that better. Sangopas Parshad, Astra Parshad. Okay, so basically the associates of Lord, they descended to the world, right? We say we know that it has been described to us how somebody is Lord Indra in Chaitanya Leela, somebody is Lord Shiva, and mixed form of so Radha Rani is there and all that. So when we talk about true devotees, it is not their karmas that they have to suffer, or they undergo whatever hardships they are suffering, that we feel is suffering. They actually voluntarily come to this world to take part in the Krishna Leelas, and they can undergo many whatever austerities they have to. They don't mind that for serving. It's kind of as a service to Krishna, to because it's Krishna's pastimes and Leelas are to attract other people, and people like us, and to give us a lesson. These pastimes are also being performed, and they take great pleasure in helping Krishna, or as it's a part of their service to Krishna, and that is how they are. We understand their hardships, in my understanding, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for sharing. Yes, you are absolutely right, Prabhuji. My understanding here was wrong, that it happened because of their karmas. I think it's their part, it's their role, it's their duty that they have to do like this, so that the people in general can learn from these pastimes, that if we do that and if we do this, what should we do? Thank you, Prabhuji. And yeah, I was just actually listening to one Nitai Sevni Mataji's lecture. And in that, Mataji actually made a very good point, which is, I think, is very relevant here. She said that, sometimes we see in our, we read in our ISKCON bhajans, like Bhakti Vinod Thakur ji, or Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ji, or other great acharyas in the translation, in actually in their bhajans, they always write, I am so fallen, मैंने कितने पाप किए होंगे, and I did so much bad work, so much bad karmas. But Mataji actually sharing that so somebody actually asked Mataji said someone that कि वो भी तो कहते हैं कि उन्होंने इतने पाप किए हैं, they are so fallen, तो ऐसे हमसे भी कुछ हो गया तो क्या हो गया. So Mataji was actually saying that their paap, or their this bad action is actually not thinking about Krishna for even a second. But whereas if we compare that to what paap in our understanding is actually something very, very different. So when our acharya actually say that, I'm so fallen, maine itni galti kar di hai, mujhse ye ho gaya. So they are actually saying because they maybe in some moment they were not able to think about Krishna. So that is their level of paap, and our level of paap is like, we can do anything and then go to Krishna and say, Krishna, I'm sorry. So if they say like this is how it is relevant here, that if Kunti Maharani has suffered, if Devaki has suffered, they are actually, you're right, they're playing their role. Their suffering is on different level. As I just mentioned, that Krishna gives that suffering to us nowadays. I don't know what we will do. you know how people will curse Krishna, that, you know, my life is that for little difficulties we go to temple and start making these deals. So Mataji explained very nicely that उनका suffering जो है और उनकी जो problems हैं वो किसी और ही level से हैं. So just comparing this, that their life and our life, and their suffering and our suffering is absolutely, they're very, very different. Thank you, Prabhuji, for sharing. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much,
Mataji.
Mataji. Sorry, Mataji, बोलिए आप.
No, but I was saying thank you, Mataji. You made such a nice point. That point was beautiful about how the acharyas, when they lament, we shouldn't think on our terms. We shouldn't compare them to ourselves and think, oh, okay, inke paap aur hamare paap ek baat hai. That's a very nice point. Thank you. Prabhuji, please
Thank
go
you very
ahead.
much, Mataji. Yeah, thank you very much, Mataji, for your wisdom. आपने बहुत research किया, बहुत पढ़ा. And I was just listening the one lecture of the Maharaj. I think somebody was, some other devotee were asking. It's debate kind of thing was going on. What is difference between Bhagwan and Ishwar? And they are asking, Krishna came before, are the Grantha, I mean the Atharvaved, the Yajurved, are all these came. You explained very well, Mataji. Krishna said that, yeah, I am the source of everything. I am the knowledge of all the Vedas. So then that's very much clear here over here. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
You want to listen more often, Mataji. Thank you.
One day, actually, Prabhuji, I was listening to Mohan Prabhu's, His Grace Mohan Prabhu's lecture, I think. I'm sorry if I'm, I don't know, Prabhu or Maharaj, I should say. But,
Yeah. He speaks in Hindi mostly.
Hindi, yes.
Yeah, and very fast. Yeah.
Yes.
Mataji, Mohan Rupa Prabhu.
Mohan Rupa Prabhu, yes,
Yes.
Mataji. So actually, there was a girl, and she was in the audience, and she said that, you know, Prabhu was explaining that how we should read Gita, this, all that stuff. And then she just stood up and she said, अरे मेरा एक फ्रेंड है, वो इतने टाइम से कृष्णा कॉन्शियस कर रहा है, उसके पापा की डेथ हो गई, ये क्या बात है? तो the Prabhuji was like, what? So we don't saying ISKCON that your relatives will not die. You will face the sufferings, but then he gave example of, you know, BMW car and a Bullock car, that this is how we feel, this is how we train people. Then she said, you know, how I believe this Krishna conscious, फिर हमारे को suffering नहीं आनी चाहिए ना जब हम इतना भगवान पे विश्वास करें. Then Prabhu explained that, but she was actually very willing to argue with Prabhuji. Then she said that हम मैं कैसे मानूं, ये भगवत गीता किसने बोली है, हम आपने देखा है कि भगवान को? तो प्रभुजी said कि नहीं मैंने तो नहीं देखा, बट मेरे आचार्य ने, मेरे गुरु ने मुझे हमें बताया तो हम वो फॉलो करें. She said आपके गुरु ने देखा है, इसका हमारे पास क्या वो है, हम कैसे मान ले, और ये क्या है वो क्या है, ऐसे. Then प्रभु said कि आप स्कूल गए हैं, आपने ABC सीखी है, आपने अपने टीचर से पूछा कि उनको इसने ABC बताई है, उन्होंने कहाँ से देखी, तो आपने कैसे सीख ली, आपने इतनी पढ़ाई कैसे कर ली, वो भी तो आपको कोई पढ़ा ही रहा है. So that's how actually these arguments, people actually come with these arguments and say ये कैसे है, वो कैसे है, भगवान कैसे. But yeah, everything comes from Lord. And you know, in these past years इतनी चीजें change हो गई हैं. अब जैसे we are seeing this corona, अब हमारी generation से next को भी हम ऐसे ही बताएंगे कि हमने ऐसा कुछ देखा था, ऐसा हुआ था. But they cannot say ना कि आप हमें वापस टाइम मशीन में डाल के लेके जाओ और हमें बताओ 4 साल पहले क्या होता. So it's all about believing, and yeah, everything comes from Krishna. That is very, very true. I just wanted to share that how people actually argue and they become so defensive कि अगर if we are taking Lord's name तो हमारे साथ कुछ नहीं होना चाहिए, हो गया तो फिर गलती है. So actually for those people we should this verse is very relevant, that they gone through so much but they're still asking for more. So that's how devotee is. Very good.
Thank you, Mataji. Can I share one point that I just remembered?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Mataji, this I heard a while back in one of Amrendra Prabhu's lecture, and he was talking about what is Sukh, Dukh, and how is it different from Anand. So some of you may have heard it before. So basically, if you sometimes hear Bhagavad Gita verses, there is a word called Kha, Shabda Khe. There is one verse in 7th chapter which says where Krishna says Shabda Khe, that I am the sound of the ether or the space, right? So ka means basically the one of the 5 elements, the ether or the space, right? So sukh, so su means good, ka means space, right? Dukh means bad, du means bad, and ka means space. So sukh and dukh basically means what is happening around us or outside of us. So meaning in the space around us, in this ether, in this 5th element, what is happening around us. If it is good, it gives us sukh, sukha, sukh. And if it is bad, it gives us dukh, dukha, dukh. So he said, but these pure devotees, for example, Kunti Maharani or Devki, they are not, they are beyond sukh and dukh. They are not influenced by what is happening around or outside them. Where they are, what they are experiencing is always just anand or pure bliss, which comes from inside. It has nothing to do with what is outside us. So outside us is just material creation, material elements. We are 3 modes of material nature operating, but they're transcendental, they're divine, so they're not bothered by sukh and dukh. So to us, externally speaking, it looks like, oh, they're going through vipada, like Queen Kunti says, vipada santuta shashwat, that they're going through vipdas, they're going through problems. So they're having sukh and dukh. If this is a bad situation, they're having dukh. If this is good situation, they're having sukh. But that applies to us, to mundane people who are in 3 modes of material nature. What a pure devotee is experiencing, because he's connected to Krishna at all times, he's transcendental at all times, he's only experiencing bliss from inside, because he's always within. He's not worried about what is outside. So actually, even though so many things happen to her or happen around her with in her different situations of life, whether with her husband or with her sons, daughter-in-law, kingdom, citizen, so many things, but inside, since she's always connected to Krishna, always remembering Krishna, always saying the names, so she is experiencing, she's not really worried about sukh and dukh, she's always in pure bliss. So that is what the platform that one has to aspire, where outside situations, the the space does not bother us, whether it's su or whether it's du. If we are connected to Krishna from within, then we'll always be in pure bliss or anand. It's just one point that came to me, I wanted to share. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Mataji. Such a beautiful point, such a powerful point. Actually, Mataji, these should be some recordings, when you actually going, and you should have these things in your phone when you go through a bad time, because at that time we actually get bewildered. It's very difficult to remember all these things at that moment when you actually suffering. So thank you, Mataji. This is such a beautiful point. Yes. Hare Krishna.
We'll chant 11 times, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.